Hello, Chipara here, and today I'm going to do a brief overview of my thoughts of the Fayetteville, North Carolina Comic Con that occurred in North Carolina from the 22nd to the 23rd of April, 2023. In addition, I'll do a brief summary of the tribute to actor Jason David Frank, who sadly passed away last year, 2022. This tribute, called Forever Green, included a number of other Ranger actors, Power Ranger actors, in addition to friends, collaborators, cohorts that all gathered together during this Comic-Con, Fayetteville Comic Con, April 2023. So we're going to go over the Comic-Con, once again, my thoughts, and also this brief overview of the tribute. So we'll go into kind of my thoughts of the Comic-Con first. So Fayetteville, North Carolina, it's not a place you would think of to have a convention. There's not much going on there. But the convention, this was kind of a first step, in my opinion, to something that you would see on the West Coast, like a Power Morphicon. Power Morphicon is something that they do in California. It contains actors for the past and the present. They'll even announce the upcoming seasons of future Rangers. It's something that even when I was living in California, I now live on the East Coast, that I looked forward to participating in. I was hoping they'd do something on the East Coast, and this is something that kind of garnered my attention, that there are so many Power Ranger actors. Now, there are a couple that didn't show up. I believe at one point Amy Jo Johnson was announced, and then she no longer participated. And Jason Font, on the Saturday that I went, it seemed like he was a latecomer and was more for the tribute that started at 6 p.m. that day, rather than participating in the convention hall as a guest and somebody that you could take pictures and get autographs with. Also, in terms of some of my thoughts of the convention, it is very small, so I hope that this has the potential to expand in the future, that they continue to gain more participation from other actors, from other exhibitors, and it cannot just be contained with a small room, but also expand amongst the Crown Complex, which is where it took place, in one of the side exhibit areas that can have a larger space to kind of expand in future years. Something else that I thought was a bit odd was that even though the convention hall opened at 10 a.m., they were still putting signage for their main kind of stage room at about 12:30. So while they were doing the Q&A for Once and Always, the Power Rangers Netflix special that Walter Jones and Barbara Goodson participated in, they're still putting the signage up while the actors were entering into the room. Which it was a bit odd that they waited that late to kind of set up the signage for your main stage hall. Another thing was that the Power Ranger actors were all contained into one singular space. So even though there's a lot of even dead space in a very small exhibit hall, the Power Ranger actors were kind of on top of each other. So you might have Serena Vincent standing next to Aaron from Bat in the Sun, and they're on the same table. Their merchandise is sharing the same space. So even though you might be waiting in line for Aaron from Bat in the Sun, it's kind of like you're standing in front of Serena Vincent and you're looking at all their merchandise kind of collaborated together on the same table. So it was a bit odd that they had to confine them in such a small space when there was so much dead space in the exhibit hall. They kind of spread them out and give them the priority that they deserve, in that this is really just a Power Ranger centric convention. So those are some of my negative opinions of the convention. I will say something else that I found a little bit disconcerting was that there are a number of cosplayers, and it's very fun to dress up and be your favorite characters, but a number of individuals were just dressing up in kind of tactical gear. So you weren't necessarily playing a character from Call of Duty, you were just putting on tactical gear. And the guns, for the exception of the muzzle, looked like real guns. So I don't think they were doing the necessary due diligence from a security standpoint to make sure those individuals were safe, that the guests were safe, that the guns were properly cosplay play guns. And I just think there's a larger number of individuals wearing tactical gear than I've ever seen in any other event. And I thought that was kind of maybe a poor choice, that maybe they would have said, hey, this is not really something we're going to allow in this convention. I'll take off some of that gear because it might upset some of the other members, participants of the event. So again, that kind of confines what my overall negative thoughts of the convention were. Let's go into some of my positive thoughts. So in some of the positive aspects of the convention, I did really enjoy just the interactions with Power Rangers that you don't get to see. These actors on screen have never been able to interact, but I was able to see Serena Vincent interact with Walter Jones. So you're talking about the take that back, the Lost Galaxy Yellow Ranger, one of my favorite seasons. The Lost Galaxy Yellow Ranger interact with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Black Ranger, and she's telling him, "Congratulations, I'm so happy for you on the Netflix special. You deserve it. You deserve all the success from that Netflix special." So being able to see Serena Vincent kind of coordinate with Walter Jones, and then you also had the Turbo Blue Ranger standing right next to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Black Ranger Walter Jones, and them joking around and having fun. And kind of reminiscing about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Turbo, and just kind of assumingly they're friends. So to see some of those interactions was pretty special. In addition, these tables for Walter Jones, the other Power Ranger actors, was across from the tribute to Jason David Frank, and that booth, that exhibit booth, was handled by Jenna Frank, who is Jason David Frank's daughter. So in that booth, they had the helmets of Jason David Frank that he had wore over the series. Again, that includes the Green Ranger, the White Ranger from Mighty Morphin, that includes the Black Dino Thunder, that includes Zeo, that includes Turbo. You had all these helmets all lined up. In addition to kind of other memorabilia, they had the green candle, of which they lit up for the tribute later on in the evening. But something that I found very interesting that I could never do if I was in her shoes was that Jenna Frank, over the course of that weekend, there's this long line, and Jenna Frank had the longest line in the convention of individuals that were coming up to her and telling their stories about Tommy, about how much the character of Tommy meant to them. And she's hugging everybody, she's hearing their stories, they're giving her paintings, pictures, or crafts of what they have done in honor of Tommy. They're giving these items to her, and they're telling her stories about how much this character, or Jason David Frank, how much they meant to them. And to have all these individuals talking to you about your dad, it takes a lot of a mental strength for her to have done that I could never do if I was in her shoes. So really a huge shout out to her for having gone through the entire weekend of those long lines, all leading up to her, for individuals to just share their thoughts about Tommy, or the actor Jason David Frank, of having been such a special contribution to their lives. So that was incredibly special. In addition, that line itself, I would see Jason David Frank's wife, Tammy Frank, kind of going past the line and also talking with the fans about Tommy. And again, some of the hearing about their stories and just kind of engaging and interacting with fans. So you had Jason David Frank's family there to be able to kind of engage and hear about how his passing has impacted the fan base at large. So with the event that occurred that night, the Forever Green, which the Forever Green, as what was identified during the event that night, that tribute to Jason David Frank, something I had known bits and pieces of, but Forever Green is a reference to, I believe his name is Hector David Jr. I could be incorrect about the actor's name, but he's the Green Samurai Ranger. So when they did the season of Megaforce, they had the legendary battle with all the Rangers kind of coming together to save the Megaforce team in the series finale of that series. And during that episode, Hector David Jr., who's the Green Samurai Ranger, and again, if you're in the comments, you can correct me on the actor's name. He was very he was very energetic, and he was a very fun actor to engage with. But he was telling the story that he had come to the legendary battle as one of the guest stars for that episode. There's other Green Rangers there, like the Lost Galaxy Green Ranger, and there's a picture, and the story of the picture is that Hector, or the Green Samurai Ranger, is talking to Jason David Frank, Tommy, and he's like, hey, can I wear that shield? You've been my hero my entire life, but it would be awesome if I could wear the shield just once. And this is something that happened off camera. It's not something that happens in the episode. And Jason David Frank is like, yeah, that's fine. Let's bring over the costume team. So they brought over the costume team. They took the shield off of Tommy, of Jason David Frank, and they put it on the Green Samurai Ranger. And they have the Green Lost Galaxy Ranger standing beside them, witnessing it. And there's a picture of those three. And I think Jason Font is on the side there, the Time Force Red Ranger. And there's a picture of them together. And that kind of brought up the theory of Forever Green, this phrase. And that's a takeoff of the Forever Red episode that was, if memory serves me, the 10th anniversary of Power Rangers. It's kind of a takeoff of Forever Red, and this is Forever Green, kind of continuing the lineage of the Green Rangers. So with Forever Green, this was a tribute to JDF. It was an event to give donations, to kind of support suicide prevention, to support those initiatives to kind of assist with different avenues to combat and to provide assistance for those that are going through depression, or having some of these thoughts that try to help somebody going through a tough time. I totally get that. I totally empathize with that, having gone through that. It's a battle, and to have an event like this that's dual-faceted, being a remembrance of Jason David Frank, and also being an event that kind of betters mental health, mental wellness. So it was very special to be able to have that. Now, in terms of the event, it was kind of like DJ'd, OC'd, hosted by the Beast Morphers Red Ranger. I believe his character's name was Devin. I believe the actor's name is Travis. Again, if you're in the comments, correct me. There's a lot going on that day, but they live streamed this event as well. My concern was that for the event, they should have done better for the participants. They should have done better for that event. There's a lot of issues with the stream itself. There's a lot of technical issues. I think at one point, one of the cameras that was doing the live stream, that was recording the event, the battery died, and they had to switch to another camera. They had to take a break that was unforeseen during the event. And then most concerning of which was how they ended the event. So over the course of the event, they had a number of guest speakers, other actors that have been friends with Jason David Frank, acted with him, or were somehow impacted by Jason David Frank, JDF. They had fans that were asking questions of the guests on stage, and they also had somebody that was a kind of a mentee for JDF. It was somebody that was a student of one of the dojos where he was a teacher, he was the master. And the event closed off with that individual that was a student of JDF, and they were lighting the green candle, and he had asked the exhibit hall, the employees, can we dim the lights? So we're going to light the candle and have a moment of silence. And what should have been a very strong moment, and it very much was, the staff of the facility said, no, we can't dim the lights. So that was kind of a taken aback that this is part of the tribute. We're going to light this candle, dim the lights, and they said no. So they had to keep the lights on. They lit the candle, and it was Jenna Frank, which made it more poignant, that lit the candle, and they had a moment of silence for that, for the lighting of the green candle, which was very much taken from Tommy's introduction in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and kind of like how he got his powers from Rita Repulsa. So with that, I'll leave it with some of the segment of the burning green candle, And I hope to see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Power Rangers!